Good morning from a new location. Today is Monday, May 11th, 2020, and welcome to What's Up with Mr. Beck. As you know, I'm Mr. Beck. You can reach me at rbeck@mycrcs.org. You can reach me on Twitter at Mr. Beck Teaches. Follow me, parents. You know I want you to follow me. I've been on you since day one. Anyways, so I want to start off today's episode by I created a new segment I'm going to do every Monday. It's called This Week in Focus. Okay, and so here I'm going to kind of explain what's going to happen for the week. There's some slight changes in our schedule, so plan accordingly, young fifth graders, my Padawans. Okay, so Monday, today, we'll start off with Lesson 6, Inuit People. The assignment will be due not Wednesday night, Tuesday night. I'm going to extend it till 11 o'clock because I've heard a lot of people say, hey, Mr. Beck, I'd really like it if it could be a little bit later. If your parents are fine with it, I'm fine with it. Also know that I don't mark any assignments late, really, until Friday. That doesn't mean that I won't nag you if you don't turn in who the episode was brought to you by, but, like, I usually will give you 2 days. If you don't have it in 2 days, I'm going to be like, hey, are you alive? Are you okay? Okay, so that's that. Tuesday, Gryffindor! I'm going to do donut delivery. Messages going out in like 5 minutes. Okay? Also, homework-wise, you'll have to CNN 10, and as always, you'll have to send me who the episode was brought to you by. Wednesday, Lesson 7, review of the Ice Age and why we settled where we settled. Okay? That assignment will be due Thursday night, late. Okay, 11 o'clock. Sounds like with the time that people want. You also have a CNN 10 due to me. Okay, Thursday, you have a CNN 10 due to me. We will be having a test. So you're going to start preparing for the test. Friday is test day. However, I am not going to open the test up until after 3 p.m. At 2 p.m., I'm going to do a study session on Friday. So if you want to be totally prepared for the test before it happens, come up to the circle with me. It's not going to be a circle. It's just going to be like we do in class. It's going to be like garbage ball, except for we can't take a shot. So I'm going to try to find another way to make it fun. I'll split you up into teams, and that's how we're going to do it. Okay, so Mr. Beck, I want to make sure you're 100% ready for this test. I don't want you to be afraid at all. You'll be prepared as long as you come and you watch every episode this week. You should be good to go. Okay, so let's get into good news. Hit it, Michaela.
Tell me something good. Tell me something good.
Good news. We'll start off with the person who sang it, Michaela. My good news is that my mom and I played Skip-Bo, and my dad played Rummy. I love Rummy. I used to play Rummy with my grandpas and my uncles. Such a good game. Love it. Great way to waste time, too. I always thought of, like, card games as, like, the equivalent to, like, when the way that you guys play video games with your friends with your headset on. You guys just complain and talk to each other the whole time. That's kind of like what my grandpa did with his friends, except for they did it face-to-face with cards. I don't know. That's just my theory. I always thought that. Okay, next one, Luke. My dog Bella was very sick. I'm so sorry to hear that. But the good news is she's feeling a little bit better. So that's great. Keep it up. I'm pulling for you, Bella. I know you're going to get through this. Maria, my good news is that we went on an 8.5-mile bike ride around Cuba Lake. Woo! Were your legs sore? My legs are sore thinking about it. Mr. Beck, getting a little chunky. He needs to lose some weight. Okay, next we've got Aveo with tons of news. Thank you. My good news is that I watched your video and I laughed when it came to the end of your video. That's why I do it. So I'm glad that you're enjoying it and I'm glad that you're laughing. I want to make it funny. I don't want it to be boring. I know you're learning stuff, so it's not like you're watching the YouTube channel you want to watch. You're doing something for school. But hey, at least let's try to make it fun. I'm trying to make it fun. Come on, let's go. Let's have fun together. And also, my good news is that we made fireworks in a glass jar and made Snoopy snow cones. I am so glad. And she's going to go play her Wii. I'm really interested in those fireworks. How did they go? Okay, cool. If you have a video, that'd be sick. If not, it's okay. Maybe next time. And then finally, we're going to finish this good news off with Lacey. Good news to me is that my good news is that my mom and I made tie-dyed t-shirts, and it looked like you guys had a blast. So happy. I was thinking to myself, Mr. Beck, I swear, I sent you good news. How come it's not on What's Up with Mr. Beck? Do you hate me? No, I don't hate you. Don't send good news through chat and Teams because I forget about it and I lose it. It's hard to keep up. So if you want to guarantee that your good news is going to be on What's Up with Mr. Beck, please email it to me at rbeck@mycrcs.org. Pretty please. And also, please send more good news, part of your homework today. Okay, so we're going to go into today's lesson. It's about Inuits. Enjoy. I really spent a lot of time on this PowerPoint. I wanted to make it less boring for you guys, so there you go. Enjoy.
Inuit people, lesson number 6. I hope you're ready. Let's go. Pack up your alpaca. Pack up your parka, because it's going to get cold. Okay, the Inuit people lived in the far northern areas of Alaska, Canada, Siberia, and Greenland. As you can see on the map, they originally made their home along the Alaskan coast, but migrated to the other areas. Migrate means to move slowly. Okay, everything about their lives in the Inuit is influenced by the cold tundra climate in which they lived. Okay, they had to adapt. I want you to know that like the theme of the Inuit people is adaptation. How do they become successful living in this harsh environment? Let's find out. Boom. Next. So that brings me to question 1. What word best describes the climate for the Inuit people that the Inuit people lived in? Is it a desert? Is it a rainforest? Is it a tundra? Or is it tropical? Give you a second to think about it. 1. On to the next one. What kind of homes did they live in? So remember, we're thinking about adaptation while we're doing this. Traditionally, the Inuit only lived in igloos during the winter months. What? Blew my mind. I did not know that. They were usually made from earth, not just snow. Snow igloos were temporary shelters made for hunting trips. The Inuit learned to make warm homes out of snow and ice for the winter. During the summer, they would make homes from animal skins stretched over a frame made of driftwood and whale bones. And I want you to remember this part here because they use everything. They're resourceful. They don't waste a piece. They stretch this. They go hunt for the animal skin. They use it all. They eat the meat. They remember we talked about guts before. They use those guts and turned them into like thread to sew. And they used everything, even bones. The Inuit word for home is an igloo. So when they say igloo, they're just thinking home. Igloo, sweet igloo, instead of home, sweet home. Get it? On to the next. So, this question. Traditionally, the Inuit only lived in snow igloos. When? So I want you to realize that I miswrote this question. Traditionally, Inuit only lived in snow igloos when? All year long? What's an igloo? During the summer months or during the winter months? Okay. On to the next. What was their clothing like? Okay. So I want you to just think for a second. Yeah, you can see the pictures and you're probably already starting to read, but like you have to live in a cold, harsh environment. What's your clothing going to be like? Well, the Inuit needed thick and warm clothing to survive in the cold weather, which makes me think about you. What do you do in the winter? Oh, that's right. You wear a coat. You wear long pants. You wear hoodies to school. Just like the Inuit, they had to adapt to the environment. You adapt to your environment. They used animal skins and furs to stay warm instead of Under Armour hoodies, like you. They made shirts, pants, boots, hats, and big jackets called anoraks from caribou and sealskin. The warm, soft boots worn by the Inuit were called mukluks or kamiks. Okay? So they're like the classic ancient version of the Ugg, right? They come up to like mid-shin. They keep your feet warm. Okay? Think of them when you see them. They would line their clothes with fur from animals like polar bear, rabbits, and foxes. Okay, so that brings me to my next question here. Question 3. Read the following excerpt and answer the question. The earliest people left no written record of how they lived. So how do we know about their lives? Clues have been left behind called artifacts. Tell us, an artifact's an object that somebody made in the past. Which of the following is an example of an artifact from the Inuit tribe? There's the A, Anastasi arrowheads, which sounds like a great sports team. B, modern day tools like your dad's socket wrench. C, your MacBook. Or D, mucklucks, the Ugg of the ancient times. Okay, so that brings us to our next slide. What did the Inuit people eat? So, the Inuit people were unable to farm and grow their own food in the harsh desert of the tundra. And I heard that word desert and tundra. And at first, when I was like thinking about through a 5th grader's eyes, the words desert make me think of sand. And Mr. Beck, we're in the frozen tundra. Like, what are you talking about? There's snow. But there's not a lot of precipitation there, just like the desert. And that's where we get the word desert from. There's not a lot of rain or precipitation that comes. I know there's snow. It just doesn't go away because it's consistently frozen. Okay. They mostly lived off of meat from hunting animals. Okay. What did they eat? They ate meat. They used harpoons to hunt seals, walruses, and bow-headed whales. Oh my gosh, can you imagine trying to hunt a whale with a harpoon? You better bring a lot of harpoons. They also ate fish and foraged for wild berries. And I want to make sure that you understand that yes, there were wild berries, but just like they say, they were wild. They weren't everywhere. They weren't farmed. They weren't like corn or a crop. They just had to dig through the dirt or area to find them. The high percentage of their food was fatty, which gave them energy in the cold weather. So we're eating fatty animals. We get lots of fats in our diets. It helps keep us warm. It helps gives us energy. Okay. And that is an actual picture of a harpoon. No, that bottom part right there, that's just like a source. Okay. So back to the one of the most fascinating things about the Inuit, in my opinion, is how did they hunt whales? Okay, so in order to hunt large prey like walruses and whales, the Inuit hunters would gather in a large group. Oh, that explains it. They didn't just use one harpoon or bring 20 of them themselves. No, to hunt a whale, typically at least 20 hunters would gather in a large boat armed with a number of harpoons. So each one of the 20 are bringing a ton of harpoons with them. They would attach a number of sealskin balloons filled with air to the harpoon. This way, the whale could not dive deep into the water when they first speared it. So try to get a balloon, try to put it in water. If it doesn't work very well, it floats because of this buoyancy. Okay, but we'll get into science stuff later. Each time that the whale would come up to the surface for air, the hunters would harpoon it again. Once the whale died, there comes the real challenge. They would tie it to the boat and tow it back to shore. It would sometimes take a number of men a long time to catch a whale. But it was well worth it. The Inuit used all the parts of the whale, as we saw already. They used it to help make their little tents. They use it all, including the meat, the blubber, the skin, the oil, and the bones. The large whale could feed a small community for a year. Could you imagine getting all your hunting done in one day, maybe a couple days, but you could get it all done for the whole year? That's how they hunted whales. And that, my friends, is extremely impressive. But they had to hunt the whale, right? But they had to get back to their house. And how did they do that? Through transportation. So they transported on the land. Despite the harsh landscape of the Arctic, the Inuit still found ways to travel long distances. On land and ice, they used a dog sled called a camelik. I think that's how you say it. Let me look here. Yep, Camunique. They bred strong sled dogs from wolves and dogs to pull sleds, which are made from whale bones and wood, which we knew because they're resourceful and they use everything. These dogs became the husky dog breed. Okay, so not only do we, as we know, they don't only transport on land, they also transport on water. Transportation on the water. On the water, the Inuit use different kinds of boats for different activities. For hunting, they used a small single passenger boat called a kayak that gave them maneuverability. Okay, they also built larger, faster boats called umiak that were used for transporting people, dogs, and goods. Okay, that brings me to question 4. What is one way the Inuit demonstrated adaptation to their environment? Because as we know, they adapted to their environment. So if you look at this question, I'm helping you later. Okay, celebrating traditional events, using kayaks to navigate icy water for hunting, community involvement, or nomads followed food. So how are they adapting to their environment? Okay. So let's get to some interesting facts about the Inuit. A member of the Inuit people is called an unluk. The warm, soft boots worn by the Inuit are called mukluks or kamliks. They're the modern day Ugg. We've talked about them already. In order to mark areas and keep from getting lost, paths were marked with a pile of stones called a unuksuk. Nearly 99% of the Inuits in western Alaska died from disease after coming in contact with Europeans in the 1800s. This happened to a lot of Native Americans, not just the Inuit, but because there were so many different diseases in Europe, when they were brought over, there was no defense for them. There were no antibodies created. These just ravaged Native Americans. Okay, Inuit women were responsible for sewing, cooking, and raising children. How do you like that, ladies? And the men provided food by hunting and fishing. So they got to hunt and fish all day, and you were stuck cooking, sewing, and raising children. I don't think that's fair. I think there should have been a mix. Inuit had no formal marriage ceremony or ritual. And after hunting, they would perform rituals and sing songs to honor the animal spirit. Because they didn't hunt the animal because they hated it. They loved the animal. They were so thankful for what they would provide. They killed a whale. They would eat every piece of it. They would use it all. There was nothing left over. They were very thankful. Okay, so this brings me to question number 5. Now I want you to use everything you've learned today and everything you know. Okay? How did the Inuit adapt to life in the cold climate? Using the picture and your outside knowledge, explain 2 ways the Inuit traveled and survived in the harsh winters. Mr. Beck, what does that question mean? It means that you need to have at least 4 to 5 sentences here. You're going to restate. The Inuit adapted their life by traveling. 2 ways they traveled are this and that. The Inuit adapted to the harsh winters by these 2 forms. They did this and they did that. Okay? This is an extended response. This is not a multiple choice question. So you need to make sure that you are writing in complete sentences. You're starting with capital letters. You have punctuation in it and it makes sense, and you're putting in a 5th grade effort. So if there's no 5th grade effort, you're not getting all 5 points for the question. You can do it. I believe in you. You're a rock star. That's today's lesson. Today's episode of What's Up with Mr. Beck was brought to you by Captain Rex, my favorite clone trooper, also known as CT-7567. Watch the Clone Wars. I'm not going to put a thing here. I'm just going to leave it like this, and then I'm going to put it at the end. And if you watch the exact whole show and you didn't pause, you already know.
So that is today's lesson. I highly recommend getting the assignment done today. Why wait? It's easier today because you just watched the video. You should have been writing stuff down while you were watching the video. You're going to see the 10 vocabulary questions again every single time because it's on that test and I want to make sure you do well. And then you'll see 5 new questions, 4 of them multiple choice, 1 of them extended response. And like I said in the video, make sure in your extended response, you're using proper 5th grade grammar. Capital letters in the beginning of the sentence. At the end, you're putting a punctuation mark. You can do this. I believe in you. And it's not 2 sentences. It's not 3 sentences. It's 4 or more sentences to fully explain. Please, please, please make sure that you're not losing points. Calvin, don't be lazy. Okay? I believe in you guys. You're going to rock it out. Okay, let's talk about the CNN 10. It's a free CNN 10 today, but I do want you to watch it. This should be just relaxing. Like, what do? I got some time. You can do it while you're doing your math homework, whatever. So today on the CNN 10, artists around the world create and share their work from home. Also, we clear up some foggy notions about fog. I love their play on words. And we take you lobster fishing in Maine, which sounds amazing. I've been to Maine, ate the lobster there. It is so good. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, here's the precept. Boop.
Today's precept: success isn't always about greatness. It's about consistency. Consistent hard work gains success. Greatness will come. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Guys, you are what you do every day. If you are somebody who works hard every day towards your goals to achieve something, to get better each day, you are going to be successful, guaranteed without a doubt. If you keep working hard, you keep going nonstop, you got this.
Closing. Guys, it's the beginning of the week. Let's be awesome this week. Let's get everything in on time. Jaden Joy, I promise if you don't send me stuff, I'm calling you every single day until you turn them in because I know you have the internet and you can do it. I believe in you. Okay, so today's episode was brought to you by my personal favorite clone trooper, CT-7567. And if you know who that is, Gunner Yaki, muscle flex on him. But if you don't, it's Captain Rex. He's my favorite clone trooper. That's today's episode. So, as always, hashtag choose kind, hashtag stay awesome, Mr. Beck out.